Welcome back to Buy or Buy. Today, we're pointing our lens at the absolute, undisputed pinnacle of the modern Mercedes-Benz empire. We are strictly analyzing the Z223 generation Mercedes-Maybach S680 4MATIC. And just to be super clear right up front, we aren't talking about the standard S-Class, we're not talking about the V8 Maybach sibling, and we're definitely not looking at the AMG variants or the SUVs. This explainer is exclusively about the flagship V12. Literally the grandest, most opulent, and frankly most expensive traditional sedan the brand produces today. But before we get completely swept away by the romance of sterling silver and twin turbocharged power, I really need you to focus on this number, 31%. That is the staggering depreciation loss this vehicle suffers in just 24 months. If you bought one of these brand new at retail, that is roughly $80,000 to $100,000 just vanishing into thin air. Just let the absolute financial gravity of that sink in for a second. Okay, let's dive into this and track exactly how we get to that terrifying number. When this Maybach launched in the US for the 2022 model year, the MSRP was a lofty, but honestly somewhat expected, $202,000. But the shocking trajectory of dealer asking prices since then is wild. By 2024, it climbed to $237,550. For 2025, you were looking at a base around $246,000. And now, for the 2026 model year, dealers are asking anywhere from $237,000 up to a breathtaking $262,000, depending on your options. Now, contrast that climbing MSRP with the brutal reality of the used market. Say you paid $237,000 out the door for a 2024 model. Kelley Blue Book shows the current private party value has plummeted down to roughly $136,000, losing $80,000 to $100,000 in 2 years. That isn't just standard car depreciation. That is undeniably yacht money territory. So you're probably wondering, why does it cost so much in the first place? Well, it really comes down to prestige and incredible engineering. This Maybach originates from Factory 56 in Sindelfingen, Germany. It's built right alongside the standard S-Class in the most digital, flexible production assembly hall in the modern auto industry. But here's the thing. The Maybach isn't just an S-Class with some fancy badges slapped on. It's actually physically stretched 18 centimeters longer, specifically to accommodate genuine chauffeur-class rear seating. And under the hood, it sits a literal masterpiece. The M279 6.0-liter twin-turbo V12 is a direct carryover from the previous generation S650 and the now discontinued AMG S680. And guys, it is, without exaggeration, one of the smoothest internal combustion engines ever built. It generates an effortless 621 horsepower. It produces a massive 738 pound-feet of torque, giving it relentless pulling power. Despite weighing 5,100 pounds, it launches from 0 to 60 in just 4.3 seconds. And in the US, it effortlessly glides right up to an electronically limited 130 miles per hour, though globally, it can actually hit 155. And this brilliantly illustrates the modern evolution of the Maybach, because for the very first time in Mercedes history, this V12 engine is paired with 4MATIC all-wheel drive. They've routed that immense power through a 9G-tronic 9-speed automatic transmission and split the torque with a heavy rear bias, 31% to the front, 69% to the rear. It provides incredible year-round traction while totally maintaining that classic rear-wheel drive luxury feel. This exclusivity is really the entire pitch. The S680 is the only Mercedes that still carries a V12. For the ultra-luxury buyer, that absolutely matters. Like the V8-powered S580 is a phenomenal car, for sure. But the V12 brings a level of silent, vibration-free authority that simply cannot be replicated by fewer cylinders. It's a pure engineering flex. But the real flex? That's the executive rear cabin, especially when you pair it with that gorgeous available two-tone paint. It is simply extraordinary back there. You get genuine chauffeur-class opulence. I'm talking a 19-degree recline, a powered calf rest, neck and shoulder heating, and a hot stone massage function that will legitimately melt your stress away. And right between the seats, a beautifully integrated refrigerated armrest. To complete the illusion of being on a private jet, the S680 surrounds you with a Burmester 4D 30-speaker audio system. It's easily one of the best sound systems in any production car today. And of course, you can sip from bespoke sterling silver champagne flutes. Honestly, it is a beautiful, beautiful trap of opulence. But we have to wake up from the dream eventually, right? What is the brutal reality of ownership here once we look past that terrifying depreciation? Because when you buy a machine this complex, the financial risk doesn't stop at the dealership lot. Not even close. It's time to talk about the known mechanical and electronic flaws. First up, let's talk about the digital brain. The massive 12.8-inch OLED screen runs the second-generation MBUX system. At launch, it was completely plagued with frustrating gremlins. We're talking freezing screens, complete blackouts, and over-the-air update failures that continue to populate owner forums today. Owners also report intermittent recognition faults with the phone-as-a-key ultra-wideband system, plus failing audio control units, failing soft-close door latches, and failing piezoelectric motors that assist those doors. It can leave you incredibly frustrated.
So, the crucial point is understanding the chassis maintenance. The standard AIRMATIC air suspension is known to wear out, and replacing the struts and compressor will run you $5,000 to $8,000 per corner. But if your car has the optional E-Active Body Control, that's a highly complex 48-volt hydraulic system, failures there will cost you $25,000 to repair. Yeah, just let that massive number sit in your mind for a moment.
And sadly, the chassis liabilities continue. The active rear axle steering system, which is what makes this long sedan maneuverable in the first place, has documented actuator failures that prompted service campaigns. On top of that, owners have reported occasional torque converter shudder and valve body calibration issues within that 9G-tronic transmission. And what about that glorious V12? Well, structurally, the M279 is actually quite robust, but as you approach that 50,000-mile mark, inevitable issues arise. You're going to see coil pack wear, you will see oil cooler seal leaks, and because this engine bay is so incredibly packed tight, fixing those relatively simple leaks requires highly specialized invasive labor. It quickly adds up to a $3,000 to $5,000 repair bill. Which brings us to a really uncomfortable question. Beyond standard wear and tear, why is this specific M279 V12 engine rapidly becoming a severe long-term liability for secondary market owners? Because it's technologically retired. Mercedes has officially ended all V12 development for its luxury sedans. There is absolutely no successor planned. Now, yes, Mercedes itself revised its position back at IAA 2021 to add the V12 to the new S680 Guard Armored variant, but guys, that's a fleet protection vehicle, not a luxury sedan strategy. What that means for you is terrifying. In 5 to 10 years, long-term part support and dealer diagnostic expertise for this incredibly complex engine will become a major, major problem. You're basically holding the keys to an orphaned powertrain. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how factory timing is about to seriously hurt current owners. Mercedes recently started production of the facelifted versions of the S-Class, Maybach S-Class, and EQS at Factory 56 for early 2026. This means the 2021 to 2024 pre-facelift models are going to look instantly visually dated within months. When those facelifted cars hit the secondary market, that steep depreciation curve we talked about, it's going to accelerate even faster. So let's look at the current used market tiers, if you're brave enough to jump in. According to KBB, Edmunds, and Cars.com, a 2022 model sits between $135,000 and $165,000. A 2023 is $145,000 to $180,000. And a 2024 asks $155,000 up to $200,000. That means you are looking at paying $150,000 plus for a pre-facelift car that is practically guaranteed to hand you looming, massive repair bills. So it's time for the definitive dual verdict for this explainer. For new buyers looking to spend between $237,000 and $262,000, this is a buy. The yacht money depreciation, the technologically retired V12, and the incoming facelift make it a catastrophic financial risk. And for the used buyer looking at a $150,000 discount, it is also a buy, because a single visit to the dealer for EABC suspension or rear axle steering repairs will entirely wipe out the money you thought you saved. So what should you do if you absolutely must have a chauffeur-class rear seat with 12-cylinder power? Switch brands. Go buy a used 2022 Bentley Flying Spur W12 for similar money. Or, if you are absolutely dead set on the Maybach magic, wait 2 more years. Let the 2022 to 2024 Maybach S680s hit the $90,000 to $110,000 mark when the depreciation curve finally flattens out completely. Until then, keep your wallet closed. Thanks for joining me on Buy or Buy, and I'll see you on the next one.